we're not just recognizing leaders or celebrating innovators. The women we honor today are changing the face of business, breaking down barriers and proving that gender equity isn't just a goal, it's a game changer. It's my privilege to introduce the 2024 WBC CEO Excellence in Gender Equity and Diversity Award winners. Priscilla Almodovar, President and CEO, Fannie Mae. Judy Marks, CEO and President, Otis Worldwide Corporation. Priscilla Sims Brown, President and CEO, Amalgamated Bank. These CEOs aren't just making headlines, they're making history. They're proving that when women lead, businesses thrive. They are setting the pace for a future where diversity isn't an add-on, it's the driving force. So let's celebrate these incredible leaders for their vision, their boldness, and their unwavering commitment to gender equity. Congratulations to our 2024 winners, and thank you for inspiring us all to keep pushing forward in building a robust business landscape. We spoke to CEO Award recipients to discuss the importance of diversity in employee engagement, partnerships, and supplier diversity, and to talk about how we're building employee engagement programs that drive business outcomes. Supplier diversity is a critical part of demonstrating a commitment to diversity, and you launched a robust supplier diversity program in 2024. Can you talk about this commitment and what it looks like, both in terms of action and impact?
Only 10,000 of our 71,000 colleagues are located in the U.S. We truly are local everywhere because we provide both products and services pretty much across the globe. And this year, this September, actually, well, this is airing, we're celebrating our 171st anniversary of the company. So relevancy has always been important to Otis. It's been important in innovation, but it's just as important to our people. And that's what I believe makes a difference. Having those colleagues living in all the cities, all the communities in the world, and playing such an important role in those communities. That happens through volunteerism, but that also happens through us aspiring to look like and be part of the communities where we live and work. And so when you operate in so many countries, and in our case, it's 200 countries and territories, so pretty much everywhere except sanctioned countries, we do have the ability to make an impact on mobility, an impact on people's lives. If you think about our product, 2.3 billion people a day interact or touch our product. And they do that without us being necessarily present while they're using elevators and escalators and moving walkways. But it's changed the very nature of life. In developing countries, it's allowed for mobility, for the middle class to rise. It's allowed for urbanization, for people to move out of rural areas and become more urban. And as we face what's coming, Gwen, with a maturing world and a maturing population, there's even more needs for mobility as we all age. So, our founder invented the safety brake that allows elevators to be safe, and allows cities to rise. And with that responsibility now, we owe it back to allow cities to be sustainable, allow our workforce to have opportunities, and allow people to have mobility. Diverse suppliers exist. And it's a little bit like when you're recruiting as well for diverse colleagues. The people exist, the strength exists, these companies exist. And in a world where you want resiliency, where you want to have access to a broad group of supply chain solutions, be they here in the US or even in other countries, you want the ability to have dual suppliers for almost everything that you need to continue to build up your supply chain for both our products and our service offerings as well, especially as we refurbish old buildings. That's a whole modernization business where we have as well suppliers involved. But there are quality suppliers out there who fit all of the diversity categories that are defined here in the United States. who are quality suppliers, who have 100% on-time deliveries, who work with us to understand our requirements and our needs and are flexible. Some are very small, some are on the large side. But that's the beauty of having this offering. And there's no excuse for any company not to have a diverse supply base. It could be diversity in geography, it could be diversity in offerings, or it could be diversity in ownership, as well as just making it really, again, in the communities where we live and serve.
I think what's important to know about our programs, whether that be supplier diversity or the way we look at employees or how we think about our customers, we believe that if you get people who and organizations who would not otherwise have an opportunity, that you will find that their innovation leads to all boats being lifted. And so we think economic sustainability for the country depends largely on small institutions, whether they be CDFIs, community banks, suppliers. These institutions that are smaller, where innovation and entrepreneurship thrive, are what will fuel the growth of the economy overall. So our supplier diversity program, our programs around employee diversity, they all are rooted in the notion that if you include people of diverse backgrounds and organizations of diverse backgrounds in your selection process, they will rise to the top at appropriate levels without quotas, and they will then help to sustain and fuel a better economy overall.
What resources do you have for employees to work on community engagement and diversity?
We are so proud at Fannie Mae of our employee resource groups. We have 10 of them. And what's incredible about them, they are truly employee-led. We make sure to fund them appropriately. The programming they do is very impressive. And what I really enjoy from my experience with these resource groups is it's a great leadership opportunity for our employees. We have executive sponsors that support each ERG. We make sure that we attend, we're present, we learn a lot from them. And there have been times when we've had some tough issues to deal with socially, things that were happening outside that were going on. Our first line of feedback is these resource groups. And we respect them, we value them. And what's really exciting at Fannie Mae is our employees want to be on these groups. Over 1/3 of our employees have signed up, and it's a very inclusive. So, there's a lot of allyship at Fannie Mae, and it's something where people see it as part of their development. Because they create these events, they have to influence others as to what the agenda is, they get public speaking opportunities, they have to monitor their budget. So these are these skills that I'm proud that Fannie Mae offers these softer skills that are super important business skills, and it's all through the ERG. So the ERG does a lot in terms of informing what various groups of our employees are facing and dealing with and what's important to them. But if you're on the leadership team of any ERG, you're a leader at Fannie Mae, and that makes them even more effective.
Our ERGs have really taken off. But they've taken off because they have a business value. And even when we talk about ESG, to us, we've always done things that are now called ESG because they made sense for our business strategy. ERGs make just as much sense for our business strategy. So I'm pleased to say we have ERGs with over 3,000 of our colleagues actively involved. They cross really a whole set of dimensionality in terms of the common reasons why people create ERGs. And then what we've done is we've put together networks of ERGs so that if we have a global one for women in technology, but if we have one for certain minorities, and it happens in more than one country, we connect these as networks so they can learn from each other. But each ERG has to have business relevance, and they do. They've create communities where people feel free to add value, free to innovate, free to collaborate, and free to mentor. And that whole mentorship activity goes beyond just our ERGs. We now have mentorship going on in 19 countries in 11 languages, which is kind of a small number of languages at Otis, because almost everything that we communicate and translate at a minimum goes out in 18 languages across the globe. But this mentorship is happening, and it's happening because there's someone who wants to be a mentor and someone who always wants to learn. The ERGs are part of that, and they create a safe environment for that to happen, where there's some element of familiarity and commonality. But mentorship goes a lot beyond that. We've got reverse mentorship, where we have, some of our more experienced colleagues who are getting mentored by digitally native newer colleagues. And it's an incredible thing to watch, where there's not just information sharing, but you can see this relationship forming, that again, people benefit from, and in the end, the company benefits from. So we see it, the ERGs are part of our spearhead of our volunteerism activity as well. And this last year, we had 71,000 volunteer hours. Again, mainly focused on STEM, but our ERGs take this upon themselves to tailor some of the volunteerism activities. We've made a commitment to 500,000 volunteer hours cumulatively by 2030. But a lot of this, we don't do this we do not do this for the recognition, for the awards that come, although I truly am honored for this. We do this because it's good for our people, it's good for our business. And that's how you make decisions. You drive a strategy, again, to serve, to drive business for many different stakeholders. But such an important part of the stakeholders are our colleagues. And when they can bring their whole selves to work, it matters. We're in the life safety business. People work in dangerous situations. We work at heights. They need to be there every day and bring their whole selves to work. And we find, whether it's ERGs, whether it's inclusion activity, that allows for that. And one of the ones we've really, and an area we've spent a lot of time on lately, is disability. And it goes beyond physical disability, it's mental disabilities. And I signed a pledge to Disability In, and we have made a commitment not just to have accessible workplaces, but more importantly, to assess, what does this mean for our product set? How do we make it easier from an inclusive mobility standpoint for people who may have disabilities, whether it's the size of the button you touch, whether it's voice, whether it's ADA here in the US. And we actually, by our disability ERG, we have the ability to actually kind of crowdsource what more can we do. Because as I said, more of the population not just ages, but has more disabilities, again, physical, mental, in any of these, we will have a more competitive product and will be a more competitive employer of choice, because people will know and our commitment to it.
How has diversity in your leadership and workforce helped drive your business objectives? And how and what are some of the steps your company is taking to understand intersectionality?
There are many ways and many perspectives from which you arrive at a decision that a very diverse workforce and a very diverse customer and supplier set makes sense. Lots of ways you can think about it. You can think about it from the perspective of business. Obviously, if you broaden the customer set, you're going to have a larger pool from which to draw. So that makes sense. But you can also think about it in terms of recognizing that no one group has all of the ideas and answers. No one group. And that if you have diversity of thought, you're going to come up with more creative ways to deliver products and services in the right way to the right customers. So my call to action to everyone is to not get hung up on labels, to actually think more about the deep wells of market opportunity available to you and be very broad in your thinking about it. If you widen your aperture to include people who are very different and customer sets that are very different, you're going to arrive at a decision that your employee base and those who are making decisions within the organization should indeed represent those differences?
Yeah, our commitment to diversity and inclusion is guided by our mission. When you look at who we're here to serve, it's the future homeowner. So it informs who we're serving. So having a diverse workforce is critically important to us. We're super proud. We are a majority minority firm. Over 50% of our employees are identify as people of color. As you noted, 40% of our officers are women, which I'm very proud of. And our board is over 50% people of color as well. So really proud of those statistics, and it informs, because if you think of who our future consumer and who our future home buyer is, we know that 90% are non-white. We know that over 50% will be Latino. And we also know that more than half don't understand the mortgage process. So having a workforce that looks like the people we're serving is something that we are very proud of. And we also take our role seriously in terms of helping the industry, the housing industry, also become more diverse. Because again, there's a lot of people in the housing ecosystem. So we see our role to move the entire industry along with us. So we have initiatives with appraisers across the country, with realtors, and with future talent. We work with many universities across the country to make sure that earlier in career, younger people know that there's a career in housing finance. It's a very big industry, and we're very proud of the role that we have played in making our industry more diverse, but also making sure that we're here to serve the future home buyer, renters, who are very much diverse.
I always say the best ideas don't come from the CEO. They come from our people who are closest to seeing our customers' problems, seeing what our passengers go through, and coming up with those ideas, whether they be in the back office or in the front, in the field. And that's where that inclusion just has such a difference. We have benefited as a company because our leadership is diverse, our board is diverse, and we've been able, since we became independent again in April of 2020, to continue to show incredible results, double-digit EPS growth. Our financials are strong. Our investors are relatively pleased with the results they've made. But most importantly, when I look back on the impact we've had, whether it was the resiliency through COVID, whether it was dealing with macroeconomic issues, whether it was dealing with productivity, whether it was applying technology, all of that came down to the strength and resilience of our colleagues. And our colleagues really reflect our values, our absolutes, and they make a difference every day. And they do that because we value diverse thought.
Can you expound upon these efforts and share more on your commitment to community engagement in 2024 and beyond?
We look for diversity of all kinds. As I said, we're laser focused on 6 segments, and we have people within the organization and on our board that represent all 6 of those segments. And what's beautiful about that is that they're bringing different perspectives. And yes, there are women, there are racial minorities, there are people from different parts of the country, there are people who have very diverse backgrounds, economic backgrounds, and other ways. And so they bring a very lively discussion to things like product design, services that we tailor for our very unique customers. The growth that we've seen is largely due to our ability to be very, very client focused. And we couldn't be that way if we didn't have people within the organization that represent the diversity in our client base.
For the industry, we obviously play a role in ensuring that the industry looks like the people that we're all ultimately here to serve. And these are renters and future home buyers and homeowners. But as a company, about 5 years ago, before it was cool, Fannie Mae was talking about psychological safety. And we've been on this journey for the last 5 or so years where our employees defined, what does it mean to have a place, a work environment where they feel safe, where people are heard, respectful of one another, where you can come and be your true self. And it's something that doesn't end with one initiative. It's something we continue to evolve and improve, and we make sure that our employees are providing that feedback. So it's a place where we really walk the walk when it comes to inclusion, and our employees feeling very much this is a place of belonging for them.
We are a broad employer, and we want to be that employer of choice across the globe in every city, in every community. And that means we want access. And this is where the intentionality that I spoke about earlier comes in. We want access to the entire world's population. So we want people to appreciate STEM, but we also want them to be part of Otis's future. And I see no reason, as a matter of fact, I think it's counterintuitive why you wouldn't want more women of color, more minorities as part of your workforce. We are serving the communities where we live and work, and why wouldn't you want access to these incredible people who come with diverse approaches, who come with diverse thoughts? The beauty of diversity is you get different thoughts and different backgrounds at the table. And where we want every voice to be safe and heard, these people have the opportunity to make an impact on our company.
Diversity and inclusion for us is all about equal opportunity. And it's core to who Fannie Mae is. It's core to the service we do to the country to provide mortgage credit to everyone and making sure the system works for everyone. We do believe, and the call to action to everyone is, we believe we can continue to lean into diversity and inclusion and equal opportunity, and do it in a way that's durable and consistent and compliant with the law. It can be done, we're doing it, and it's our values of who we are as a company and the mission that we serve, and it can be done, and it can be done compliant with the law and make it durable.
Well, there are lots of things that this company has been lauded for, many things. And I think on behalf of Lynn Fox, our chair, who, by the way, is a woman and represents the labor movement, and the many other members of our board and our management team and our employees, I would say that of all of the things that we could be lauded for, that which represents true diversity is the most important. And to come from an organization who has represented really change in this area for many years just makes it all the more special. So I am thrilled to represent Amalgamated Bank as a recipient of this award.
Congratulations and a heartfelt thanks to your leadership to the 2024 winners of the WBC CEO Gender Equity and Diversity Award.
I'm humbled. It's a privilege and an honor to receive this award, most importantly for what it represents, which is where I have the opportunity to work with 71,000 colleagues and make a difference in the world.
Thank you, Gwen, and thank you to the WBC. On behalf of our over 8,000 employees, we really appreciate being honored for Fannie Mae's commitment to diversity and inclusion and equal opportunity. It's all about equal opportunity. It's part of our values, so thank you for recognizing that.
Of the many things that Amalgamated Bank is often lauded for, financial performance and mission, that which is most important to us is represented in this award. I'm so excited on behalf of Lynn Fox and our board and all of the people who make up the Amalgamated family, including employees and other constituents. I'm so proud to receive this award for something that is so near and dear to us, which is really, really key, and that is the representation of diversity. And to receive it from an organization that has been known for this work for so many years makes it all the more special. Thank you.